I now call on Deputy Sean Kenny with 4 minutes.
Thank you, firstly, I want to join with Deputy Nash and my other colleagues in paying tribute to the employees of the IBRC and to express the wish they will be fairly treated in their redundancy terms. I warmly welcome the deal on the IBRC promissory notes as a commitment delivered on and another step on the road to economic recovery. It is a giant step forward for Ireland. As we all know, IBRC was formerly the Anglo-Irish Bank and also the Irish Nationwide Billing Society. And recently at Cathaoirleach we saw a primetime programme on the Irish Nationwide Billing Society, and we saw what went on there under Mr. Fingleton. Whenever I hear of the Irish Nation Billing Society, I also think of Priory Hall in my constituency. It was the Irish Nationwide who bankrolled Thomas McFeely to build Priory Hall. And perhaps if he hadn't been able to get the money from them, maybe Priory Hall might not have been built the way it was. It can perhaps be said that this is the deal that Ireland should have always secured when it emerged that the situation in Anglo-Irish Bank was so serious. The significance of this deal and the work that has gone into securing it cannot really be underestimated. The deal will save Ireland €20 billion in borrowing costs over the coming decades and reduce the national deficit by €1 billion per year. It is important to say that, of course, we're not out of the woods yet. While there will still be reductions in spending over the next 2 years, the burden on Ireland has eased as a result of this deal. It puts our debts on a more sustainable footing. It will help us to grow our economy and create employment, which is the priority. I must say, I think it was irresponsible of the opposition who are trying to put it out there that the promissory notes could somehow be defaulted on or forgotten about. The reality is that they couldn't. To do so is not possible under the Treaty for the Functioning of the European Union. The promissory notes were sovereign debt. They were made the responsibility of the Irish people by the last government, and the reality is that they must be paid back. The opposition opposed to this deal need to deal with political reality and not fantasy. Sinn Féin, I believe, Cathaoirleach, has absolutely no credibility on the bank debt problem, which has very nearly ruined this country. They voted to bail out the banks and make the bank debt sovereign. Yes, they changed their minds later on, but they can't get away from their initial position. Anyone who claims that the state of the country is not somewhat better today than prior to the events of last week either fails to understand what is happening or is using existing political developments for their own political convenience. Cathaoirleach, I made a promise to the people who elected me in 2011. That promise was to play my part to sort out the awful mess that the last government left Ireland in. This deal is part of that promise. It also does what many of my constituents and others from all around the country who constantly email me almost on a daily basis saying that we shouldn't pay the 3.1 billion promissory notes. Well, we have now stopped paying them. Promissory notes are history. And for those who very loudly call for an end to the promissory notes only to criticise the deal after seeing it achieved, it is very surprising and indeed disappointing. Individuals who continue to insist on default simply must understand that defaulting or a write-down of sovereign debt is illegal, as I have already said. This is the reality that all of us in this House, in the European Parliament and the European institutions must work within. Those who think it's acceptable to preach in the media or in this House need to take account of the political realities. In conclusion, I want to say that Labour in government is solving the problems that Ireland faces, and today is another step towards economic recovery for our country. What this government now needs to do and will strive to do is to bring forward further arrangements for our banking debt and our sovereign debt. Yet more work is going to be required on this, but I am convinced that this work will result in further significant results for Ireland and its people. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy.